Well, good morning, everybody. Darren Saul here, your host of Playing with Perspective, the Suspended Animation Podcast, episode 113. And I'm here with the fantastic Kevin Jensen. How you doing, Kevin?
Good, good. Hi, everyone.
Fantastic. Now, for everybody out there, we're going to be tackling something very interesting and very important. And I've certainly had need for this over the years. We're going to show
I
you.
wouldn't call it interesting, but we'll see.
Oh, it is. It is. We're going to show everybody how to untangle those complicated telco bills and save money. So everybody likes to save some money. Now, my guest
Absolutely.
today is Kevin Jensen. He's the owner and operator of Jensen IPA. He lives on the sunny Gold Coast. He loves reading, dancing, and traveling, especially overseas when possible. He is passionate about helping people, which is why he started Jensen IPA. He specializes in untangling the complexity of Telstra bills and charges for medium to large business so that they benefit from clarity in their telecommunications expenditure. Kevin loves to bring clarity to your telco expenses so that you can move forward with confidence. His skills and knowledge has saved over $100,000 for some businesses. So, Kevin, welcome. I'm very excited. Maybe I'm going to
Well,
save
when you're
some money
talking
today.
that sort of money, I suppose it is exciting, isn't it, for some people, and especially for companies. You know, they sort of struggle to really understand what they're paying for when they've got large expenditure on their telco bills.
Absolutely. And you know,
It's a common problem across the board. You know, I meet with companies and everyone's got the same issue and has been there for years and years.
yeah,
So now I'm just out in the marketplace trying to help those companies decipher the information and provide clarity for them and assist them going forward so they can understand what they're paying for and prepare for things that are coming up. In the marketplace, you know, there are a lot of changes with the pricing structures, with NBN, and a lot of the old products are being done away with, and so there's a lot of competition, and having a bit of a refresh and assurance of what you've got, but then prepares you for what's in the marketplace, and so you can go out to tender and know exactly what you've got and what you need to move forward.
absolutely. And I believe that you are very unique. There's no one else that does this. Is that right?
That's true. As far as I know, I am the only person that actually does this. There's a lot of competitors out there will sell you new products, new contracts, new this and that and everything else under the sun, but I don't offer any of that at all. I just look at the bills and charges and get savings out of what already exists on the bill.
Perfect.
So there's nothing, you don't have to sign a new contract or anything like that. It's just basically pulling apart the bill, finding anything that needs to be fixed up, and then working out how to fix that up and get it done, and then savings come off the back of that. And sometimes companies save from 2 years ago or 3 years, depending on contracts and other issues. You can make claims back for past bills for a number of reasons, and you have to be able to prove it, and it has to be approved eventually. But we put the best case forward for you. We bat for you, and hopefully that comes out in your favour.
I love it.
Most of the customers have got at least 5-6 times the monthly expenditure or more.
Sensational.
In return. So it's
sensational.
There's plenty out there.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll get into the nitty gritty in a little bit later, but I want to start at the top. And why is it that these telco bills are so complicated and confusing? Why is that?
Why? Well, look, it's basically old technology. I started back in the 80s when they first started the billing systems computerization. And unfortunately, with Telstra particularly, they went out to market and bought hundreds of computer systems, literally hundreds. And the problem is that they bought one for sales, one for text, one for data, one for lines, one for this, one for that, and then the billing system. And eventually they realized they had all these systems and to feed the data into the billing system. And they tried to get it into one bill, but obviously coming from multiple systems, there is multiple opportunities for error, and information doesn't get transferred in different ways from different systems, and mismatches and all sorts of issues along the pathways. So it became very complex, and it is still complex. It's the same system. It's been there for 30 years or more.
So it's just too hard to change and start again.
It's massively hard to change. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they've been talking about new systems since 4 or 5 years ago, and they haven't come up with a solution yet. They're still working on it.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
So,
Awesome.
but that's the way it is. It's always been that way, and that's what they work with, and that's what I work with. And so, while it's in that state, there's options and opportunities there.
Perfect. No, it sounds good. I mean, it makes sense. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, a lot of people would be thinking, well, why can't I talk to my Telstra rep about my issues? Why can't they, sort this out somehow? Why should we go to an external party to do this? What's your
Well,
view?
okay. First off, the Telstra rep isn't a expert in the billing system. They're not billing experts. They don't know the intricacies of a complex billing system. So they will pass that on to someone else,
Yeah.
who passes it on to someone else, and eventually goes offshore to a particular person in a particular team.
Right.
Now, that process can take months sometimes to get responses back. It's complex issues, require complex experts, and finding the right person to get the job done, takes a while. It's got to go through the chain to the person, come back to you, whatever else.
Absolutely.
On top of that, if you've got multiple issues, you're going to have multiple emails, multiple phone calls with different people,
Yep.
because each one does a different job in a different part of the business. And so it's very complicated. Trying to pull that together is really hard for a business. And so that's what I try and do. I try and get the whole picture, pull everything together, and make it a lot easier, a lot more streamlined, and a lot less stress for the company.
Perfect. Oh, that's great. And I suppose the benefits of this are you might get some money back, you get some time and hassle, energy back. Any other particular amazing benefits from working with you?
Oh, well, look, okay. So first off, yeah, look, I'm the expert. I understand what goes on. I know why it happens. I know how to find the errors. For instance, if you ring up and you ring the general number and you say, look, I've got an error on my bill. I've got a $5,000 a month bill. First thing they're going to say to you is, okay, so what service and what item and why?
Yep.
And if you don't know out of that, you got 300 pages of bill, and you're going, oh, my bill's gone up, but I have no idea what item, what number, or why.
Yeah.
You don't even know where to start.
That's right. That's right.
and so you're scratching your head going, look, I've got 300 pages here. I'm not sure why or how. And then the operator says, they're trying to drill down with you, and you spend half an hour having a conversation, and you may or may not be able to get to the answer anyway.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you're looking for, and they don't know what you're looking for. And so you just sort of,
Just
you might wiggle your way out of it, but eventually, you might pick up one or two things, but you might have missed 4 or 5 others,
That's right. Yeah.
You just don't know.
Yeah. Awesome. So tell us a bit about how you actually work. What's your process? Do you actually go and renegotiate contracts if needed as well? Or how do you actually work?
Well, no. I just go in and I have a refresh. I have a look at the overall spend of the bill. I look at the types of services and products.
Yep.
I look at what current issues the customer may or may not have with Telstra currently.
Yep.
I then give them an assessment of what I can do, and we negotiate a fixed price to do a complete refresh and audit. Once I've done that audit, it takes about 2 weeks generally to do that. So I need to get access to their internal systems and processes. There's a Telstra internal billing system, expense management system, which I need to get access to an authorization to use.
Right.
And when I get onto that, I can pull up the reports and go back 18 months worth of data. I can pull all the reports out and give them a complete report on the health of their bill, things to look for, items that I've found that need addressing. And then once we've given that report to them, we work out, well, okay, if you want these issues addressed, then we work forward to address those issues, and we work out negotiate a price to do that second half of the project.
Okay. And so it sounds like you have a good relationship with Telstra and they give you access to their data. Is that right?
No, not really. It's actually, I negotiate with the customer to give me access to the customer's data, because the customer receives the expense management. They have the expense management system. As long as they authorize me to use their expense management system, that's where I get. I don't have access to the Salesforce system directly. It's indirectly through the customer's portal.
Gotcha.
So I use that information and I help them negotiate and work through that system and understand how that works and use it more effectively. So lots of pluses on there as well, so I can help them with, understanding the reports and how to use them effectively,
Great.
and give them a bit of training as well.
And is there any company or bill too large or too small, or you work with anybody?
Well, yeah. Yeah, look, the general spend of customers I want to try and work with would be spending about $25,000 a year on voice and data communication. So if they're just on mobiles particularly are fairly simple and easy. There's usually not a lot of issues around the mobile billing. It's more in the fixed and data services where I find the errors occur.
Yeah.
And that's where I usually find opportunities for my customers. So if they've got a fixed data network and they're spending around $25,000 a year or more, they'll be on an ideal client.
Right. And it sounds like you really love getting into the nitty gritty of the data and helping people. And, you love that feeling at the end where your customer says, wow, thank you, Kevin, you've just saved me a fortune.
Yeah. And look, for most of these companies, it's well known in the marketplace that when you call Telstra or you email Telstra, you have long delays, you don't get very good answers, you're not, there's not a lot of confidence there in what they're getting and what they're doing, and I just provide a level of confidence and a level of stress-free opportunity for them to work with me, and it just takes a lot of time and stress off their management team and off their accounts payable and whoever's looking after their books, and we work together and come up with answers and come up with reasons as to why did the bill go up here and what happened there, and it just takes a lot of that hassle away from them. And then they come back and they go, well, now we know where we're going, now we know what we're doing.
Yep.
And it's a whole lot easier for everyone.
And I can imagine that part of this is about education, because they can, once they've gone through the process, they can understand what's happening with their bills, and they know what to avoid next time and how to fix things.
Yeah, and not only that, just having a point of contact, because I've had customers come back to me after, I do what I do and then I leave the customers. And I've had customers come back in 6 to 12 months later and say, look, we've still got an issue here. Wow. And within 15 or 20 minutes, we sort it out. We can work through it and identify it for them, and it saves them a lot of time and hassle and going through the normal channels. So they've got confidence that they can move forward and understand what's going on.
And so, how long have you been running with Jensen IPA?
Just on 2 years now, actually.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, so I'm just sort of fairly new in the marketplace, just starting to get a bit of traction.
Yep.
And get a bit of recognition for how I can assist companies. I mean, look, some companies are a little hesitant to put money up front, but the end results have been really good. I've been able to get at least 5 times their money back. Wow. In many cases. So it's not I've got good case studies, and all my clients would testify to that. If you rang any of my clients, they confirm that that's good value.
Oh, sensational. So, I mean, I'd love to hear maybe a story or two, without mentioning any names, of course, or, giving any. Maybe give us a couple of stories about how you've helped people save a fortune.
All right. Well, look, one of my first clients off the rank here, they've got like 500 sites across Australia, so it's a fairly big account.
Yeah.
And they've been through the normal Telstra run-of-the-mill process, but they got me in to have a look through. And look, they got lots of refunds and money back, but they still had issues. And when I checked over the account, we found a $6 product. Now, $6 a month isn't much,
right.
But that product was really old. And I said, you shouldn't be paying for this. It's no longer necessary. Why are you paying for this? Oh, we don't know. It's just there,
Yeah.
But the thing was, they had 122 lines a month at $6. That's $800 a month across the country for this product. And I said, well, first thing you want to do is cancel that immediately. So immediately they're making $800 a month savings.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Yep.
And if they had have cancelled it 5 years ago, it would have been $40,000.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
So that's one.
It's staggering.
Got another example now with NBN conversions. I've got a company I'm working with. They've got NBN conversions across the country. So they've got stores around the country. They convert to NBN. They install a new NBN. They get charged new NBN pricing, but they don't cancel the old services.
Uh-huh.
So the stores end up paying for the old one and the new one.
Yep.
And there's a double up, and that can go on for months and months at a time
Oh my God.
until you pull it up and go, oh, you should have cancelled this, this, or this. Well, then you got to fight the battle to try and cancel it and get it backdated, and so it can be worth a significant amount of money.
Oh, it really adds up. I mean, for sure. I mean, I
Yeah,
can't even understand my bill.
yeah. So just little things that make a big difference.
I just open my bill every month and hope that it's the same. And if it's the same, I say, oh, good, I've got another month.
Yeah, yeah. And look, there are companies I've worked with that have done that, and they just keep paying and it's
Yeah,
regular each month, and not realizing that 10% or 20% of that bill could actually be something they don't actually need to pay
yeah,
for.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Well done. Fantastic.
yeah,
And obviously, you can work Australia wide. You can work
yeah.
anywhere. No
Anywhere
problem.
across Australia. Yeah, work with companies all around the country. So.
Love it. And is there ever a time when you can't help somebody, or there's always something you can do?
Oh, look, um,
You always find
it's
something.
it's always difficult, and if anyone knows the complexity of Telstra systems and processes, look, there's always things that I can't do particularly. I have to trust Telstra, I have to trust the staff at their end to do the job right.
Yep.
All I can do is give them the right advice and the right information to get the job started and get it done and follow up on that. And that's all I can do. I can't change what actually happens, but what I can do is give them the confidence and the ability to know how to go about it and the right process, the right way to talk about it, and the follow up to get it done. And
Beautiful.
that's what I provide. So.
Here's an interesting question. I mean, obviously the NBN is, another issue coming up now. And as you mentioned before, there's a
Yep.
lot of conversions to NBN. Do you see that that's going to be a more streamlined process, or are there other issues that have arisen because of the NBN change?
Oh, look, NBN is excellent in that it provides a lot faster data speeds around the country for business and for private users, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, people may not know in the business market that there are particular NBN plans. There are specific NBN plans, and they're a lot faster and a lot better than the residential ones. So if you're in business and you weren't aware of it or haven't applied for a business plan, there are completely different plans for business, and they are much better,
Oh, that's good to know.
much faster. And it will provide, and it also provides a level of opportunity to go to other providers. So in the past, Telstra was the only provider of high-speed internet
Yep.
and links, for security and all sorts of other reasons why people may have chosen Telstra in the past.
Yep.
But with NBN, the playing ground is a lot more level,
Yep.
and so depending on your needs and how much security, and obviously the bigger players have a lot more backup and security networks and other things that they can offer you as add-ons, but it depends on your business. But there's opportunities out there because of NBN to go with other providers or other options.
Gotcha. Yep.
And the pricing is coming down significantly across the board by all the companies because of the competition that's happening. So
I can imagine. Yep.
yeah, and some companies, like I had one company that went, they had a contract that was signed about 4 or 5 years ago. The contract terms normally 2 to 3 years. It's a general sort of rule of thumb.
Right.
The contract had expired, and generally what happens within Telstra, at least, is the contract continues on until otherwise notified or whatever. So the contract they had expired, but they hadn't bothered to make any changes in that 5-year period. So they was paying prices from 4 or 5 years ago. Now the prices have changed significantly in the last, they're charging all the time. So my advice is don't wait, because this guy had been paying these prices and paying for calls on his bill of like $800 a month in phone calls, when most plans at the moment are free calling.
Yep.
Yeah, most plans in the current structure and the current environment, if you're paying for local STD or mobile calls on fixed lines, you're way out of date. Those sort of plans have gone now. Most companies now will be paying free for most calls are free.
Right. Yeah.
But this company hadn't bothered to change their plan for years. And of course, they were paying $800 a month in phone calls. And I said, why are you paying for these? Oh, we haven't bothered to change our plan. I said, well, the current plans are free calling. If you hadn't updated your plans, you're missing out on that benefit of having free calls every month, and you're paying extra money you don't need to.
Yeah, that's right. No way.
So, it's amazing what happens out there. People get stuck in a rut thinking, oh, well, this is what I've always had. Is what I always do. But you just don't know. In this day and age, there's so many opportunities to make savings.
Yep. So true. So true.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, Kevin, if people want to get in touch with you to chat about how you can help them, what's the best way for them to do that?
Best way is just give me a direct phone call, or email to my email address. Yeah, so
Perfect.
my phone number is 0409 481 508, or my email is kevin@jensenipa.com.
Perfect. And of course, you got your website as well.
And my website, yep, which is jensenipa.com.
Love it. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for coming on the show today, and enlightening us with regards to our telco spend. I'm sure there's lots of people out there that would love to, get in touch with you and see how you can help them. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, look, I'm happy to help anyone of any sort of expenditure. I don't mind giving advice and help even to others who mightn't be in my market. I'm happy to help them with just understanding what's going on in the telco world and the processes involved and stuff. Perfect. That's fine. Anytime.
Love it. Well, thanks again, Kevin, for coming on the show. I'll put all the links to your details in the show notes. And is there anything else that you want to leave us before we wrap up?
Yeah, just you never know until you give it a go. That's basically it. Just
never know until you try.
Just need to have a think, have a look, and just you never know what you might find. Hidden gems.
Well done. Well, Kevin, thanks again. That was really fantastic. And I'm sure that there's a lot of value there for all the audience.
I hope so. That's the whole point of it, to add value to everyone's opportunities.
Absolutely.
Value. Yeah.
Absolutely. So everybody out there, hope you had a great, you enjoyed the podcast as much as I did. Hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll see you very, very soon for another episode. Thanks again,
Darren.
Kevin.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Thank you.